Tonight, the FBI has exposed the most protected drug operation on American soil. A sheriff, 17 officers, and one...
At exactly 11:47 p.m. on a Thursday night, the FBI director stood before a wall of cameras and delivered 6 words that would shatter South Florida's law enforcement credibility for a generation. We have dismantled a command structure, not a gang, not a crew, a command structure. Within the Miami-Dade County Sheriff's Office itself, 17 police officers, 1 county sheriff, $1.4 billion in cartel narcotics moved through Miami in 18 months, 2.3 million fentanyl pills distributed across the eastern seaboard, 890 kilograms of cocaine processed weekly through what federal agents are now calling the most protected drug fortress on U.S. soil. And every single shipment had a badge protecting it. This is not about a few corrupt cops taking bribes. This is about a sheriff who turned his entire department into a private security force for the Sinaloa cartel. And if you think you've heard corruption stories before, I promise you, what they found inside that Miami mansion will make you question every uniform you've ever trusted. Let me show you how deep this goes. 4:32 a.m. Miami Beach. Ocean Drive. The city is still half drunk from the night before. Neon lights flicker against low-hanging fog rolling in from the Atlantic. The streets are dead quiet except for the distant hum of garbage trucks and the occasional siren fading into the humidity. But beneath that silence, something else is moving. FBI, DIA, ICE, Homeland Security, SWAT teams from 3 counties, over 340 federal agents converging on 27 locations simultaneously across Miami-Dade, Broward, and Palm Beach counties. They hit a penthouse in Brickell first. Flashbangs shatter the windows. Agents in black tactical gear flood through the door like shadows. Inside, they find 4 cartel operatives scrambling to flush documents down a marble-lined toilet. Duffel bags stuffed with cash are stacked against the walls. In the kitchen, shrink-wrapped bricks of cocaine are lined up on the counter like groceries. Seized on site, 127 kilograms of cocaine, $2.3 million in cash, and something far more dangerous, encrypted tablets still logged into an active cartel communication network. At the same moment, another team breaches a warehouse in Hialeah. The roll-up door tears open with a mechanical scream. What they find inside stops them cold. A fentanyl pill press operation. Industrial grade. Capable of producing 50,000 pills per hour. Agents estimate this single site manufactured over 800,000 fentanyl pills in the last month alone. Pallets of precursor chemicals are stacked floor to ceiling. Hydraulic presses hum in the background, still warm. But it's what they find in the back office that changes everything. A steel lockbox, bolted to the floor. Inside, 3 external hard drives, handwritten ledgers, and a laminated ID card belonging to a Miami-Dade County Sheriff's deputy. The agents freeze, they bag it, they tag it, and they immediately escalate to the FBI Cyber Forensics Division in Miramar. Because what's on those drives isn't just evidence of a drug operation, it's a blueprint for institutional capture. 6:15 a.m. FBI Field Office, Miramar, Florida. A team of cyber analysts works in near silence, eyes locked on glowing screens as encrypted files crack open one by one. What they're seeing isn't just a cartel supply chain, it's an entire parallel government. The operation has a code name, Operation Sunrise Corridor, and it's run like a Fortune 500 company. Shell corporations registered in Delaware and Nevada, ghost logistics firms with fake dot numbers, sham trucking contracts paid through offshore accounts in the Cayman Islands and Panama, nonprofit foundations claiming to fund youth sports programs, but the money flows straight into cartel safe houses. The financial web is staggering. Over $1.4 billion moved through this network in less than 2 years, disguised as legitimate business transactions. Shipping manifests altered in real time. Way station inspections bypassed using falsified maintenance schedules. Border checkpoints waved through because someone on the inside made a call. And at the center of it all is a single name: Sheriff William Garrison. 53 years old, elected twice. Beloved by the community, veteran law enforcement officer with 28 years of service. His digital signature is on everything. Encrypted authorizations for convoy routes. Approval codes for evidence room access. Direct communication logs with known Sinaloa cartel operatives using burner apps that auto-delete. His personal bank account shows deposits of $40,000 every 2 weeks from a shell company called Meridian Freight Solutions, a company that doesn't own a single truck. But Garrison didn't work alone. 17 officers, sergeants, detectives, a deputy chief, all on cartel payroll. Some were paid $15,000 a month. Others received luxury vehicles, vacation homes, and offshore deposits. In exchange, they provided something priceless: immunity, real-time updates on DIA surveillance, advance warnings before federal raids, patrol grids intentionally left empty during smuggling runs, evidence logs scrubbed clean, witnesses intimidated, informants exposed. This is not corruption. This is command-level collusion. This is not negligence. This is engineered treason. And what federal investigators are now realizing is that Sheriff Garrison didn't just protect the Sinaloa cartel, he transformed Miami-Dade County into a fortified drug empire hub, a place where the cartel could operate with the confidence of a licensed business. But the operation didn't stop at the county line. 7:40 a.m. Joint Operations Command Center, Miami. A wall-sized digital map dominates the room. Dozens of red markers pulse across South Florida, Miami, Fort Lauderdale, West Palm Beach, the Keys. Each marker represents a cartel-controlled location. Safe houses, stash points, distribution hubs, money-counting facilities, human trafficking transit houses used to move cartel personnel under the cover of migrant smuggling operations. The scale is overwhelming. A federal commander stands at the front of the room and announces the mission, Operation Hammerstrike. Over 1,200 federal agents, 40 SWAT teams, Black Hawk helicopters circling the airspace, U.S. Coast Guard cutters positioned offshore to intercept any maritime escape attempts, armored units blocking highways, K-9 units sweeping for narcotics and explosives. This is the largest coordinated cartel takedown in Florida's history. At 8 a.m. sharp, they move. A SWAT team storms a waterfront mansion in Coral Gables. The front door explodes inward. Agents flood the property. Inside, they find a cartel lieutenant trying to delete files from a laptop. He's tackled to the marble floor. In the basement, agents discover a hidden vault packed with $6.7 million in cash, 340 kilograms of cocaine, and 1.9 million fentanyl pills, enough to kill half the population of Florida. Simultaneously, another team hits a luxury condo tower in Sunny Isles. They arrest 2 high-ranking Sinaloa operatives and seize encrypted phones, financial records, and a handwritten list of compromised law enforcement officers. The list matches exactly with the names found on the Miramar hard drives. In Homestead, agents breach a rural compound surrounded by chain-link fencing and security cameras. Inside the main building, they find a methamphetamine super lab capable of producing 200 pounds per week, barrels of chemicals, industrial ventilation systems, and in the corner office, a framed photo of Sheriff Garrison shaking hands with the compound's owner at a community fundraiser. By noon, the numbers are staggering. Seized 1,847 kilograms of cocaine, 2.1 million fentanyl pills, 290 kilograms of methamphetamine, 180 kilograms of heroin, $14.3 million in cash, 47 firearms, and 11 encrypted server farms containing years of cartel communication records. Arrested 62 cartel operatives and 18 law enforcement officers, including Sheriff William Garrison himself. One federal agent later described it this way: "The underworld took more damage in 6 hours than in the last 6 years." But the arrests were only the beginning, because what investigators found next exposed just how deep the rot had spread. 2:30 p.m., FBI, Evidence Processing Center. Agents are pulling data from seized servers, cross-referencing patrol logs, internal emails, dispatch records, and body camera footage that was mysteriously deleted or corrupted. What they uncover is a systematic betrayal. Sheriff Garrison didn't just take bribes. He restructured the entire department to serve cartel interests. Patrol routes were redrawn to avoid cartel stash houses. Officers were reassigned based on loyalty, not merit. Those who asked too many questions were transferred to desk jobs or forced into early retirement. One honest detective who tried to investigate a suspicious shipment was placed under internal review for fabricated misconduct and eventually resigned under pressure. Meanwhile, cartel convoys moved through Miami-Dade with impunity. Drivers were given burner phones preloaded with direct lines to deputies who would call in fake traffic incidents to divert other officers away from key routes. If a convoy was ever stopped by state police or highway patrol, a call from Garrison's office would shut it down within minutes. Border coordination was even worse. Garrison maintained a direct encrypted line with cartel logistics coordinators in Mexico. When shipments were ready to cross into Texas or Arizona, he would coordinate with other compromised officials to create soft windows, brief gaps in surveillance where trucks could pass undetected. One leaked message read, "Sunrise green for Tuesday 0400. Route echo clear. Payment confirmed." It was a second secret police force, a parallel enforcement system built to protect the Sinaloa cartel, not the public. And honest officers, the ones who still believed in the badge, were devastated. One deputy, interviewed anonymously, said this, "I thought I was working with heroes. Turns out I was working for the enemy." Federal agents began making arrests within the department itself. A senior sergeant who altered evidence logs, a deputy chief who leaked raid schedules, a veteran detective who provided cartel members with witness addresses. The badge, once a symbol of trust, had become a tool of betrayal. But investigators knew this operation wasn't contained to South Florida. They began tracing the money, following the routes, connecting the networks. And what they found was a continental-scale smuggling machine. Trucks registered in Florida would pick up narcotics in Texas and Arizona, then drive them up Interstate 95 to distribution hubs in Atlanta, Charlotte, Washington, D.C., Philadelphia, and New York. The drivers had falsified DOT credentials. The cargo manifests listed construction materials, bottled water, or agricultural products. Way stations were avoided using pre-planned detours. When inspections were unavoidable, compromised officials made sure the random selections never targeted cartel vehicles. Port operations in Miami were similarly infiltrated. Shipping containers labeled as furniture or electronics would arrive from Central America packed with cocaine and fentanyl. Customs inspections were either delayed, skipped, or conducted by officers on cartel payroll. Investigators estimate that this network moved over 12 tons of narcotics per month across the United States without triggering a single federal alert. And buried in the deepest layer of Garrison's encrypted files was something even more chilling. A long-term strategic plan titled Phase 3, Institutional Permanence. The goal wasn't just to move drugs. It was to rebuild South Florida's law enforcement and political infrastructure from the inside out, so that cartel operations could continue indefinitely, protected by the very system designed to stop them. Sheriff Garrison wasn't just corrupt. He was building a dynasty. But he failed. Because while power can be bought, and silence can be enforced, the truth is harder to kill. On the morning of the raids, Over 60 cartel operatives and 18 law enforcement officers were taken into federal custody. Sheriff William Garrison was arrested at his $4.2 million Miami Beach mansion, still in his bathrobe, as helicopters circled overhead. The system he built is gone. The network he protected is shattered. And the badge he disgraced will be rebuilt, one honest officer at a time. But here's what you need to understand. This story isn't about Miami. It's about what happens when ambition meets silence. When institutions are captured not by force, but by compromise. When the people sworn to protect us decide that profit is worth more than principle. The Sinaloa cartel didn't invade South Florida. They were invited. And the man holding the door open was wearing a badge. If you're still watching this, tap like so more people see what really happened. Comment expose if you believe corruption like this deserves to be dragged into the light. Share this story, because the only way we stop the next Sheriff Garrison is by refusing to look away. Stay vigilant, stay informed, and never assume the badge is always on your side.